There's some people who are watching this show wondering if we can achieve new levels of strange obscurity each week. And this week is sure to not disappoint. John, how are you tonight?
I'm well, Jason. How are you?
I'm very well. It's good to see you. We've got an interesting video for people today. You're basically asking the question, did Ozzy Osborne channel James Madison in 1970 when he wrote the song, what's the song? War Pigs. Tell us what this is all about, John.
Well, I spent the last week studying the Federalist Paper, and the Federalist Papers were written by James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, and John Jay. And I really wanted to dig in to the Federalist Paper number 46 in particular. And the reason is Federalist Paper number 46 is James Madison's writings about a number of issues concerning setting up the government, right? And because James Madison was one of the key authors of the Constitution, this particular paper has a lot of meaning when it comes to interpreting the Constitution. So you can kind of use it as a guide. And so I spent a good portion of the week looking at this particular document, Federalist Paper number 46. And so in our patron-only hour, we're going to dig into this. And basically what I did was I read through it again, I broke it down sentence by sentence, and then I converted it from the Shakespearean language of the times into our current vernacular so that we all can kind of discuss it in common speak, so to speak. And Jason is going to kind of be the arbiter of my interpretation. So Jason gets to, call BS if he says, hey, wait a second, that's not what this guy's saying here. Come on. So I'm going to give you my interpretation.
Week? The beard?
No.
Is that new?
No. Things happen, man. See what happens if you eat and drink and things happen. Yeah. Okay. So the net of this is we're going to break this down in the patron-only hour. We're going to look at Federalist number 46 and what was it that James Madison was trying to say. And throughout the course of the week, I'm reading this document, I'm studying the document, I'm really trying to wrap my head around, what is this guy trying to tell us? What is he trying to warn us of, et cetera? And as I'm reading it, again, I don't watch television. I just don't do that. So when I decide it's time to take a break, I go and watch my favorite comedian. Yeah, well, no, so that was work. But when I'm kicking back, I might, I'll watch Dave Chappelle, or I'll watch Joe Rogan, or I'll watch Bill Burr. I enjoy listening to what those guys have to say. But I was watching a movie clip, a trailer, and the trailer inspired me to compile a video. And the movie trailer had Ozzy Osborne, Black Sabbath's song "War Pigs" as the key song. And as I'm listening to the words, I'm thinking to myself, people just totally misjudged Ozzy Osborne and Black Sabbath. And when you look at these words and you look at these lyrics, it's fascinating. And so I put together a video that I'm going to be premiering tonight to our patrons only, and then I'll be releasing it on YouTube a little bit later tonight. So maybe 2 hours from now or something like that. So our patrons will get to see the video first. And what the video does is effectively it puts the focus on the lyrics from Ozzy Osbourne's War Pigs and compares what Ozzy Osbourne was saying 50 years ago to the state that we're in right now. And I'm telling you, wow, kind of prophetic stuff here.
Yeah.
So, again, it's 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And when you see this video later tonight, I think it's going to hit everybody like, holy mackerel, man, this guy, he knew what he was talking about. So I put that video together. We're going to premiere that tonight on the show with the patrons, and then later tonight it'll go public on YouTube. And what we're going to do is break down both the lyrics from War Pigs from 50 years ago and the words of James Madison from 250 years ago. What was it, 1783, I think, that he wrote this particular one, 1780, 1783, rough and tough. So again, we're talking about 240 years ago, right? So we're going to look at that, look at what Ozzy was saying, and then look at the state of affairs and see, were these guys prophetical? What's the story here? So that's tonight's show.
Nice. Well, the other thing, John, we've got a lot of people who are in the comments, and for people who are watching us on any of the Crowdsource the Truth channels on YouTube or Facebook or Periscope, I like to remind people that we always do a simulcast of the YouTube intro on the John E. Hoover YouTube channel. John is within striking distance of 24,000 subscribers. So if you're not yet a subscriber to the John E. Hoover YouTube channel, it's a convenient place to watch our simulcasts of the Friday lead-in to the sponsor-exclusive shows. And you can also catch up on all of John's videos. He's got a really extensive library that includes all of his research into the Las Vegas shooting, the videos that we've done together, and it's a great way to support John and stay up to date with his newest video drops. I want to tell you, John, we've got a comment here saying that Ozzy Osbourne's War Pigs, or Black Sabbath's War Pigs, was dropped on September 18th, the day after Constitution Day. And Madison was an author of the Constitution. That's pretty interesting. So perhaps there is other people who have sort of caught on to this thing.
Powerful observation. Powerful observation.
Wasn't it? Yeah. So,
yeah,
we've heard.
And again, when we drill into these lyrics, I mean, I really think people were going to say, holy mackerel, a tip of the hat to Ozzy Osbourne and Tony Iommi. Really remarkable foresight. And again, you'll see it when we get into the video tonight. I did prepare a deck going through the news, going through some of the stories, following up with what's been happening. I'm not sure how much time we have tonight in the pre-show to kind of touch on some of those topics, but there's a number of things that we can follow up on.
Sure. We've got some time. Why don't we give people a little taste of what we're going to be talking about?
Sure. So you can just go through one page at a time, and I'll tell you what we've got here. Most of this is follow-up at the beginning. We had been talking a week or two ago about Phil Haney and some of the testimony that was happening in Congress and what have you. And some of the
John, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this is breaking news that I just got from Variety. The South by Southwest Music, Film, and Technology Festival has been canceled as a result of this fear-mongering of the outbreak of coronavirus. Yes.
Well,
it's officially been canceled.
Guess who owns a portion of Variety?
Who? Al Walid.
We'll get to it in 4 or 5 slides. So it's already in here. But thank you for being my straight man. So yes, South by Southwest was canceled. Yeah, and that's again. All
Did you know that before?
This is a
right
statement
now?
by an imam. Yeah. I heard that. Yeah, I've got connections in Austin. Imam Shah Karim Al Husseini Aga Khan IV made this statement in October of 2001. I think monotheistic religions have a common reference to one God. I think that monotheistic religions having a common reference to one God should and must dialogue. The 3 religions which Abraham inspired have many more common facets than those which divide them. Religion must be the means by which to affirm the ethical significance of existence, regardless of one's profession of faith. Okay, love it. Now
we go to the
interesting
next statement.
Page. Right. So, we need more of this. So then I dug this up. And this is a comparison of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And sort of the things that each one believes, and what do they believe in common, and what don't they believe in common, right? So it looks like the Jews and the Christians and the folks who study Islam, Muslims, believe in the same God. And that's kind of a good start, right? I mean, as a basis for conversation, they believe in the same God. And the difference is, kind of nitpicky. I mean, the differences
Well,
don't,
I don't
to
know if you would
me,
call it nitpicky that Christians
when I
believe
say,
Jesus was
so,
born of the Virgin Mary and the Jewish faith does not. I think some Christians would
okay,
consider that
but,
pretty
but let me
significant.
finish the sentence. Okay, but let me finish the sentence. When I say it's nitpicky, what I mean by nitpicky is it's not the kind of thing you chop somebody's head off over.
Ah,
It's not something you shoot them in the head and dump them in the river over.
I've seen
We've got
fist fights over the Boston Red
Wahhabi.
Sox, John.
Well, I mean that might actually be, that might be valid. But when it comes to this is sacred, this is sacrament. This is sacred stuff. And having disagreement, we're all talking about the same God. They're all, you look at the Torah, they all believe in the Torah. They all believe in Moses. I mean, a lot of the stuff is the same. There's a lot of common ground, and yet Salafists, these Salafi Sunni Wahhabis, kill Shiites, and the Shiites in Iran want to kill the Sunnis. And so even within a given column, they're killing one another, right? And this has been going on for a long time, and yet I'm looking at all these common things and thinking, these things are the things that we're warring over. I don't know. It just seems
Now,
crazy.
real quick, John,
Too much common stuff.
I want to give you some more input from the comments because we got a lot of people who are sharing some interesting things with us. Veronica tells us that New York City, some radio station banned the song War Pigs from playing just after 9/11 because they apparently felt that it was going to hurt their ability to convince people that we needed to go to war. Mel Chapman is doubting Ozzy Osborne, the Prince of Darkness, noting that he wrote that song, Mr. Crowley. And I don't know.
One step at a time. I'm not talking
Voodoo
about Mr.
Chili
Crowley.
reminds us that Ozzy didn't write any lyrics. Geezer Butler wrote the lyrics for Black Sabbath.
So tip of the hat to Geezer. Geezer's a freaking genius.
Is that actually his
let's keep
name,
going.
Geezer?
I don't think that's what his mom had in mind. No.
Got it.
But that's what he's known as. That's what he's known as. All right, let's go to the next page.
Right.
I'm looking for common ground, right? So
Right.
I think I found some common ground. Abraham, Moses, it's a good start. Everybody, let's start there. All right, next page. MBS described Khashoggi as a dangerous Islamist in a call with top U.S. officials. So this effectively confirms what I've been saying, which is that Jamal Khashoggi was a member of the Muslim Brotherhood.
Yes.
He was advocating for an overthrow of Saudi Arabia and was a dangerous character. And this is the sugar-coated version, right? You're not getting to hear the recorded phone calls of what Jamal Khashoggi was planning that MBS has.
Have
right?
you
We
heard
don't know
those?
what's on those tapes. No, but I know he has them. I know he has them.
Right.
Absolutely no MBS has tapes of Jamal Khashoggi planning nasty stuff. And that's why he was cut into pieces. I understand this man. I share his DNA. Well, I understand him.
Dude, every week you're getting more and more effusive with the praise of MBS. I mean, I definitely agree that...
It's not praise. It's not praise. It's understanding. It's comprehension. It's empathy. Okay. I get it. It's like I'm putting myself in his shoes. And if I'm in his shoes and, this brother of my father's doctor's uncle, whatever that, is trying to kill me and is funding it, but he's not a sod. As soon as he's not a sod, I get to do things to him that I can't do to my cousins.
121 Jones is telling us that Islam claims Allah deceived people into believing Jesus was dead when he really wasn't. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, well, we're not going to argue points. Yeah, I'm not a theologist. I'm looking for common ground. So here we see that Variety. Didn't you just say that Variety announced that South by Southwest was canceled?
Yeah, I subscribed to Variety from, my days in Hollywood. They gave some terrible reviews to some films that I was involved in, and I just sort of still check it. I get alerts from them
All
and
right.
stuff.
So Penske owns Variety. The Penske family that just bought Indianapolis 500 racetrack.
Hmm.
So the Penske family owns Variety, and MBS invested $200 million into it. So now
Hmm.
who controls the voice of Hollywood? Who controls Variety? Who
Yeah, to be clear,
gets
Variety
things
is very
unpublished
much the New York Times of entertainment news. It's the Washington Post, the New
in
York
Hollywood
Times.
of Hollywood? Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And
Mainstream,
so
for sure.
Penske owns it, and MBS invested 200 million into
Who's
the
this guy
company.
on the right? Is that Penske?
Penske's kid,
Hmm.
Roger Penske Jr. Yeah.
Okay.
And again, they just bought the Indianapolis 500 racetrack.
Right.
Then we've got Uber, the CEO of Uber, Dara Khosrowshahi,
That's
who's
interesting.
Iranian,
I thought it was some
right? And
20-year-old
so
old American kid who invented Uber.
yeah, that was I think it was Travis Kalanick or something, and he was kicked out.
Hmm.
They kicked him out, and so now they've got an Iranian running the company. So if there's any Saudi money in there, that's not going to go over well. And I do know that there's Saudi money in Lyft, right? Al-Walid bin Talal invested in Lyft. So
Hmm.
you've got an Iranian guy running over. So
Wow.
that's
So
going
we've
to be
got
interesting.
some sort of jihad between Lyft and Uber, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly.
Both of
So
them have banned
let's
Laura
keep going.
Loomer.
All right.
We're
And
getting pretty
then we start
close,
getting it.
John. We've got just a few more minutes, so we'll keep going on the slides here, but
Yeah,
then we're going to
perfect.
transition
That's
over
fine.
to
Yeah,
Patreon
this
and
is just
Subscribestar.
follow up from stuff in the past. So Phil Haney was talking a lot about the Muslim Brotherhood. We heard Chris Galbitz talking about the Muslim Brotherhood. We heard a lot of testimony about it. And then here, there's some articles from Al Bawaba overseas. And so a lot of the stuff that I get from overseas. I get from Saudi Arabia, I get from Qatar, I get from Israel. And this is where you find the news from the region. The Intercept also has had some interesting reports. And what they're talking about here is sort of this coming together, the Muslim Brotherhood and the Quds Force in Iran, because they share a common enemy, which is Saudi Arabia. And so we've seen the Quds Force and the Muslim Brotherhood come together. And just last week, we were talking about how the Obama administration gave $1.5 billion to the Muslim Brotherhood, and how many billions to Iran.
Right.
So, it sort of explains why Obama wasn't received so warmly when he arrived in Saudi Arabia after giving all that money to Iran, after
Right.
giving $1.5 billion to the Muslim Brotherhood, and both of them are the sworn enemies of Saudi Arabia.
It's also
So this sort of
interesting.
explains. Yeah.
We've got a
Okay.
picture here of Mohammed Morsi, the Muslim Brotherhood ruler of Egypt, who, towards the end of 2019, spontaneously died inside a glass case in the courtroom at his trial, where he threatened to reveal information that was going to expose the operation in Libya, specifically Benghazi, that would be Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama.
It's tragic, isn't it? Tragic.
Well, I would have liked to have heard what Mr. Morsi had to say. Because people think it's Jerry
Yeah.
Lewis. Laura Weekly says it's Jerry Lewis, but that's Mohammed Morsi. He looks a bit like Jerry Lewis.
Jerry Lewis. Yeah, with Jerry Lewis with a beard. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I see
yeah,
the resemblance.
that's pretty good.
All right.
Maybe it is Jerry
I don't know
Lewis.
if we've got time for the next
One
slide, or
more,
we're
one
ready to
more.
go to it.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So again, Trump is pushing to designate the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization. And again, so this is how our foreign policy gets us into trouble, right? So this is an organization that we gave $1.5 billion worth of support to, alienated the Saudis, right? And that's just
Yeah.
the last administration. It's less than 4 years ago, right? And so now the new administration is having to face the music. And the challenge is, even Turkey, Erdogan is considered sympathetic to the Muslim Brotherhood, right? So it's a really challenging situation, very challenging part of the world, very tough to balance it. But the things that we've done in the past, man, um, you know, for
Yeah.
all intents and purposes, if you look at it, it almost looks like we were trying to encourage the overthrow of the Saudi Arabian government through our action by giving money to everybody around them. And I
Well,
just
I'm
don't
sure
understand it.
that's what they were encouraging under the previous administration. John, we're going to take this opportunity to break from our free preview show here and give people a few minutes to transition over to Subscribestar and Patreon. People can always watch John Cullen's Las Vegas investigation on Fridays on the sponsor-only channels on subscribestar.com/I am John Cullen, or subscribestar.com/crowdsource the truth. Of course, they can also go to Patreon and watch the show. John, we're getting a little kind of chop on your audio. Maybe we'll disconnect and you can go through some other VPN and get a bit better performance. And we'll be back in just under 10 minutes. I want to thank everybody for watching, and I want to remind them, if they're planning to watch on patreon.com/crowdsource the truth, please make sure you visit patreon.com/I am John Cullen. It's very important that you sponsor the co-hosts on Crowdsource the Truth. Please also visit YouTube and look up John E. Hoover. Let's see if we can help John tonight or this weekend get his subscribers up over 24,000. He's just about there. We've got 99 people watching on the John E. Hoover channel right now. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, get the notifications, watch the show every Friday. John, I'll see you in just under 10 minutes on Patreon and Subscribestar.
Looking forward to it, and the video will be breaking later tonight. So stay
That's
tuned
right.
on YouTube.
World premiere of a new John Cullen video dropping on Patreon and Subscribestar in less than 10 minutes. See everybody there.